Good morning. Happy Friday. Thanks for being here. So we're just gonna start seated. So grab a bolster or blankets, pillows. It's nice. This is harder versus soft, and that will give you better feedback for your sit bones and for your spine to actually stack and align. And we're gonna work with the two sit bones so that we can balance out the spine and also balance out the hemispheres of the brain. So start by pretending like your skin, your muscle, your tissue is clay, and we're gonna sculpt it. So you're gonna get an internal rotation of the thighs, releasing the groins down. Simple cross-legged. Release the groins down on both sides. And if you need to, you can actually go inside the pant leg and move the flesh, the skin, the tissue out of the way. And what that does is it starts to get us on our sit bones. And almost all of us have one sit bone that is out, one sit bone that is in, one sit bone that is forward, one sit bone that is back. And so if we can get this feedback and you kind of find it like you're a painter, you go connect with your brain inside your body, find your sit bones and reach through the two sit bones and imagining that my fingers are the sit bones. We're trying to get on the front edge of the sit bones and the inside edge of the sit bones. Inside edge of the sit bones. So imagine, and that's what's going to connect us to our inner spine so we can align and strengthen. And then I really want to work on these inner shoulders today because this is life changing. So your inner shoulders, this inside edge, is rolling down and back. And then you're going to connect with that inner scapula and draw the energy all the way down that spinal channel. Okay, so we have our foundation, and right now we're sitting, so our sit bones are our foundation. So equal pressure in those sit bones, right sit bone reaching down and through your pillow, left sit bone reaching down and through your pillow. And then imagining that you had two bathroom scales, right? Pretend my hands are two bathroom scales, and you have them under your sit bones. So most of us, we don't know it, but we have 20, 30, 40, 50, 80% more weight on one side or the other. And that feels like balance to us because that's our norm. So pretend that you have two bathroom scales under your sit bones and you're reaching through them through to the floor at an equal rate. And then the groins are releasing, letting go. Let those groins soften. This is an area where we hold so much strength and tension, and it's an area that actually needs to be soft, like jelly. And then our outer hips and glutes, this is an area that gets loose and weak and soft and feels like jelly, and it actually needs to be strong and firm to protect and support our hips and our sacrum. So kind of need to reverse the roles, right? And that just happens as a result of modern life, of sitting, of all of these things. So then your sit bones are directly rooted and going downwards, and then your spine is elongating upwards, reaching out the very top center of your head. So go ahead and take your palm, place it on the top of your head, and see if you can find that direct center. And we're going to work on this later in class today. Because again, that's not positioned as we think it is. And then palms facing up on top of your thighs. Now integrate that inner shoulder piece. So inner shoulders are rolling down and back. Beautiful. And last week we were working on that full strength and activation just to find the action, just to bring it through the body. So see if you can apply 110% effort into rolling those inner shoulders down and back. Really working to find it. And you'll start to feel that the neck actually lengthens and grows. And then your heart almost feels like a flower blooming. The heart starts to open, the chest starts to open, the collarbones start to spread wide, and the chest actually broadens. And then you find that line. Just imagine the muscles along the right side of the spine and the left side of the spine. All the muscles are drawing downwards towards the floor. And then that's going to create spaciousness in the joints in the thoracic spine and the lower spine and the cervical spine. And then see if you can find the very inside edge of your scapulas, and that is drawing downwards. So we're always working with those equal opposing actions. We're on the inside edge of our sit bones, the front edge of our sit bones. That's going to start remapping the pelvis, remapping the spine, remapping the organs. And we're drawing downwards. The shoulders are releasing down and back. But the spine is lengthening tall and long. Good. Palms are still open. Fingers are spreading wide. Reach through your fingertips. Pinky fingers. Hi, honey. Welcome. Hi, Amanda. So glad you're here. Perfect. We're just in a seated position, guys. Working through those fingers, fingertips, ring finger, middle finger, pointer finger, thumbs. Open that heart, expand wide. And I promise you, you will feel like you just got 20 years younger. As that stress just melts off those shoulders, right? Because that's where one of the big places it can show up in our body. And again, we talked about last week, as you actually retrain the body, retrain the structure, retrain the information in your body, the holding patterns in your body, then your brain creates a new map of the body. It remaps the body, which changes the story in the brain. Good. Keep lifting, keep expanding. So we're doing that 110% just so we can find the structure. So really reach through those fingertips. Okay, imagine that you didn't have the use of your hands for a second. Think of all the things that we can do with our hands, whether you're an artist, a painter, sculptor, dancer, writer, carrying our babies. You know, we need our hands. So let's give our hands the reverence that they deserve and use them to their full capacity, which we rarely do. So I'm just going to go ahead and stack fingers, wrists, elbows, shoulders. Just go ahead and try and stack everything. It's actually really helpful if you do have a mirror or the screen that you can look in. Because again, we think we're balanced, but we're like all these different positions. So elbows are reaching straight out in front of you, right? Align the shoulder and the elbow reaching straight forward. Now align the elbow and the wrists. And usually we have a bend or a kink in the wrists in one direction or the other. So you're like a scientist right now, and you're just looking to create that coordination and that alignment. So broad and wide across the wrists, broad and wide on the front and the back side of your wrists. And again, refine that balance, elbows reaching forward. And now spreading the palms, spread wide across the front palm, wide across the back of the hands. Reaching again, the elbows straight forward, away from the shoulders. Wrists stacked above the elbows. And now find those fingers, the full potential of your fingers. Think of all the love and tender care that your hands have experienced over the years. It's actually kind of amazing, right? When you think about all the things we've done with our hands throughout our lives. Reach through the pinkies, the ring finger, the middle finger, the pointer finger, the thumb. And it seems like we're just working on our hands and our wrists and our shoulders, but we're really working out the neck right now. And then come back to that awareness of your sit bones. Reach through the two sit bones evenly, reaching through the floor. And you'll feel that spaciousness come throughout your whole spine. And if you're experiencing that aching, grueling in your shoulders and your wrists and your neck, just breathe smoothly through the nose. Inhale, smooth breath. Exhale, smooth breath. See if you can slow down your breath, slow down your inhale, slow down your exhale. And any aching, grueling is just that remapping, rewiring. It's important. It's important work. And again, go to the inner shoulders, rolling the inner shoulder down the spine. Roll the inner shoulder down the spine. Exhale, take the elbows wide, palms facing forward. So now see if you can peek left, peek right. Get the elbow directly in alignment with the shoulders. Spread the palms wide, broaden across the wrists. Now your elbows are reaching out to the sides of the room. Lengthen, reach, extend. Imagine that your elbows are actually growing wider. And then again, we're rolling the inner shoulder, top inner shoulder, down the back. And we're using that 110% zest just so we can find it. Good. So we have that masculine action, that strength, the spine lengthening, the bones stacking, rolling the shoulders down and back. And now we're going to bring in that feminine softness and go ahead and cross your legs the opposite direction so we can work evenly. Now we're going to bring in that feminine softness. So the skin starts to soften, and yet those elbows are still massively reaching towards the right and towards the left, towards the edges of the room. Shoulders still rolling down and back with that 110% zest. But now you're going to keep your arms up. I'm just going to show you, you're going to bring that breath into your lower rib and the lower diaphragm. And inhale 360 degrees through the nose, expanding the rib cage. And exhale through the nose. Beautiful. Inhale again through the nose, smooth and slow. Exhale. And as you exhale, find that center line from your sit bones to the top of your head. And just continue with that smooth breathing, and let's see if we can really integrate this awareness and this information. So 110% reaching through the fingertips, spreading wide across the palms, trying to get those elbows even. And it's not even just even from top to bottom, it's even from front to back. Ooh, shoulders are resetting right now. the neck muscles are resetting right now. And as the body changes its information, the brain changes its information. So that's why we got to incorporate the breath so the body knows that it's safe. So smooth inhale and smooth exhale. See if you can broaden the ribs from the front to the back to the sides, from the very base of the rib cage to the very top of your shoulders and everything in between. And yes, we are holding this for a long timing on purpose. Roll those shoulders down and back, shoulders down and back. Inhale, smooth, deep breath. Exhale, smooth, deep breath. Inhale, smooth, deep breath. Exhale, smooth, deep breath. Soften the throat. Soften any grip in the throat. Soften the jaw, soften the center brow. And yet find that strength of your spine. Good, and now elbows close. Hands are now facing each other. And again, align the elbows, align the wrists. Sit bones reaching through the floor. Reaching, reaching, reaching. Expanding, extending out the center top of your head. Lengthen. And then again, 360-degree breathing. So that means the front rib, the side ribs, and the back ribs are all expanding. Inhale through the nose. Hold the breath at the top. Exhale. Hold the breath at the bottom. Normal breathing. And on this next inhalation, just keep normal breathing. On this next inhalation, we're going to pause at the top. Our rib cage is going to expand. And then when we exhale, we're going to keep that expansion. So your rib cage is going to be like a vase. And when we pour the water out of the vase does not lose its structure. So normal breathing. I know, it's okay. We got this. Last breath. Inhale. Pause, expand 360 degrees. Exhale, keep that expansion. Again, inhale. Exhale, keep that expansion. Last one, inhale. Exhale, keep that expansion. Beautiful. Palms facing up, hands down. Can anybody hear Layla in the background? She's playing. Okay, roll the inner shoulder down and back. So this inner shoulder piece has been one of the most transformational pieces for me, because you'll start to feel your whole spine engage. And now we want to breathe into this upper armpit chest. So this armpit chest, this is a lymphatic dumping ground. So we really want to hydrate and nourish this with our breath and with the expansion and the circulation. And then this armpit chest, you're going to take your thumbs and lift underneath your armpit chest up towards the ceiling. And see how that rolls the traps down and back. Let me get that opening. Oh, whoops. And see how I jutted my ribs forward? We got to work to bring those ribs back. Those are the equal opposing actions. So armpit chest lifting, my ribs want to come forward. Now I got to keep that armpit chest lifted and bring the ribs back. That's the alignment we're looking for. And just feel that in your own body, using your thumbs to adjust you. And anywhere that there's a zigzag in the body, there is a blockage of energy. So see the zigzag, joot, 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 joot. There's the zigzag. When I bring it into alignment, hips, center ribs, center shoulder, the brain just becomes peaceful. Good, and then we're rolling those top shoulders down and back. It's the best adjustment ever. And now we have gravity working for us. So I don't even want to show you the opposite because you have to work so hard to get this. But life takes gravity, and then the aging processes this over time, and then gravity just pulls us down. So if you work really, really diligently every day, getting this armpit chest open, the top of the traps rolling down the back, then gravity helps us. And that is the opposite of the aging process. And you look at little babies, you look at Layla, their traps live on the back body. Their chest is broad, their heart is open, they're confident, they're strong, their spine is stacked. So we're literally just going back to how we were when we were babies, that original blueprint, that original map. And if we work on it even 5 minutes a day, we're going to see a huge difference. And so even if I'm driving, I'm thinking inner shoulders down and back. Oh. Right, I was leading a Zoom call yesterday. I had a little note on my side computer, inner shoulders down and back. And then again, the spine aligns, the brain comes online. So just feeling that in your own body. Okay, so if you are able to get on your knees in this position, and if you're not, I'll show you the variation. So this is Virasana. We're going to start with the heels together, and then we're going to grab a block or a cushion so that we're seated up above. I'll just demonstrate. Like such. Show you from the side. So grab, it can be a block, it can be a cushion, it can be anything to get that extra height. And if you're not able to do this today because of knees, then you'll work sitting on the cushion in a different way with the bottoms of the feet together. So A or B, one of the two. And if you're in B, this position, then we might need more height. So we stack blankets, stack pillows, so we can get this pelvic crest. Feel this bone, it's like a crest of a moon. This pelvic crest needs to be above the knees. So if the knees are above the pelvic crest, we're gripped, we're tight in all the wrong places. And then when we're tight here, we can't access where we need to be strong. So find your setup, whatever works for you. And this is opening the entire pelvis, flushing through the lymph, flushing and nourishing and supporting not only our digestion, but our reproductive organs, our pelvis. Okay, so this is position B. And if you're in position A, then we're just gonna come to this. And the proper way to actually get in, you want to open up the knee joint. So I think you can see this, maybe come and look, but this calf, you want to create a bubble, meaning fill it up, flesh it. So see this external rotation. So our thighs are gonna get an internal rotation, but this calf needs an external rotation, and see this juiciness, this bubble. That's what you're looking for. So I'll demonstrate. So you lean onto the top of your head. With your thumbs, you pull the flesh and the tissue towards the heels and then roll the calf out so you get this juicy bubble. And I'll demonstrate one more time. If you're in position A,
Lean way forward on your head. Use your thumbs to move the flesh down towards your heels and out towards the outside edges of the room. And now we have this fleshy bubble. And then your toes are pointing straight back behind you. And then again, we move the sit bones. Remember, most of us have one tucked and one out. Get on the inside front edge of your sit bones, whether in your position A or B. And the reason I love this one, this is called Virasana, is it stacks the spine. It's one of the poses that actually helps our spine get aligned. Good. So facing forward, you're in this position. I'm just going to face towards you. And again, the reason that Iyengar invented the props is so that we can do all of the poses exactly where we're at. While actually having integrity in the pose. So it's not about the final position. It's not about the final pose. It's about the quality and the integrity of the pose and the props supporting that. Okay, so if you're in position A, you're going to sculpt. You're going to roll the outside hip towards the inner groin. Sculpt the tissue with your hands. Outside hip rolling towards the inner groin rolling towards the floor. So this is where we can learn that release of that inner groin that for 99.9% of us is constantly gripped. Release, release, release. And only when that grip releases does the brain soften, the nervous system soften. And only when that grip releases can we actually start to find other muscles that need to be activated throughout the pelvis and the spine. Palms facing up. Okay, so we're gonna again work on that inner shoulder rolling down and back. Inner shoulder rolling down and back, palms facing up. Feel the spaciousness that you get naturally in your spine just from working on the inner shoulder. Feel the broadening across your chest, because that's the other thing that happens is we start to shrink. We start to make ourselves smaller. And that not only impacts us emotionally, it impacts our physical well-being. So you can literally change. BKS Iyengar would always say depression hides here. And just notice anytime if we're feeling sad or whatever it may be that we're going through, we usually mirror that in our posture and close here, shut down here, and it can be protection. But here, right now, we're learning to reopen the heart. We're learning to roll that inner shoulder down and back, which is going to broaden the chest, which is going to give us more lung capacity, which is going to give our cells more oxygen and more energy and more life force. And just see if you feel it, right? Go ahead, shrink down, close this off. The head comes down. How do you feel? It kicks on different parts of the brain. And now open up, roll the shoulders down and back. Lift the armpit chest. Roll the shoulders, roll the shoulders. Oh, remember the ribs. Draw those front ribs back. And again, off the heart, it's equal opposing actions. It's supposed to be challenging. Top shoulders rolling down and back, ribs reaching back behind you, palms spreading wide. Whether you're in position A or B, you can apply this. Reach through the fingertips. Reach through the fingertips. Okay, the next piece we want to restore that blueprint, which is entwining in the pelvis. So those two pelvic crest bones are reaching towards each other, kind of like the interlacing of shoelaces. Two pelvic crests are reaching towards each other. Navel is reaching towards the spine. Now, ladies, if anyone is on your period, you're just going to want the pelvis to relax and release because there's a downwards flow, there's a cleansing happening. If you're not on your period, we can do this next piece. This is a bandha. This again teaches that internal intelligence. So the crests are moving towards each other. And again, if you're not on your period, then you're going to look for this internal lift. And it's from the perineum all the way up to the top of the head. And it's almost like if there was a straw, the base of the pelvis would be sucking up towards the ceiling. Okay, so that is truly restoring that original intelligence in the body. So again, only if you're not on your period are you going to draw upwards. And then we have the pelvic crest moving towards each other. That upwards lift of the perineum to the top of the ceiling, to the top of the head. Shoulder, inner shoulder, rolling down and back. Front rib reaching to the back of the room. And again, you're just integrating as many of those pieces as you can together. Your body's kind of like an orchestra. All of these different instruments playing together. And then we soften the face, bringing that feminine piece, the softness in the jaw, the softness in the skin and the throat. And yet that complete activation and warrior strength of your spine. And it's such a beautiful thing when you have that inner strength, that inner poise. It's like you truly feel safe. You feel good. So that warrior strength of the spine is active, and yet that softness, that grace, that peace, that ease, that effortlessness, that femininity is in your skin. And it's really beautiful when you can find that body awareness where you have the action of the bones and the softness of the skin. The action of the muscles. Muscles are contracting 360 degrees. So go ahead and contract your legs, muscle to the bone. Contract your glutes, muscle to the bone. Reach through your toe tips, extending your toe tips. Shoulders down and back, 110%. Take your arms, extend them wide. And now we're getting this external rotation. Use your left hand to reach your right arm outwards. Roll with that left hand to get an external rotation of your arm. It's going to reset the shoulder, the scapula, the spine. And now reach through those fingertips 110% and soften the throat, soften the face, soften the brow ridge. And then 110%, working with your legs, working with the glutes, navel towards the spine, getting the lift of the perineum up to the top of the head. Alternate other side, left arm reaching straight out. Align the shoulder, the elbow, the wrist. Use your right hand. Get that external rotation of your arm, your upper arm, which releases that top shoulder down and back. Softness of the face, softness of the throat. 110%. Keep your arms out. Imagine that your knees are extending forward. You're reaching through them. Or if you're in position B, same thing. So reaching through the feet, reaching through the knees, front ribs reaching back, rolling the top shoulder down and back. 110% in the glutes, 110% in the thighs, and the perineum lift if you're not on your moon. And then softness in the skin and the jaw, in the organs. It's hard, right? Good work. Come on down. Okay, just let your body integrate that information. Try not to shake it out. Our body will shake it out, try to go to that old habit pattern just because it's what we're used to. Roll the shoulders down and back, roll them back, roll them down and back. Front rib reaching to the back of the room. Face soft, heart open. Smooth, deep inhalation through your nose. Pause at the top of your breath. Keep the expansion of your ribs. Exhale through your nose. Good, beautiful. Okay, so if you're in this one, you're just gonna come forward on all fours, cross your ankles. Shoot your legs forward. So one of the really neat things of that position A, if you're in it, is the blood pools, and then when you straighten the legs, it flushes, it irrigates your legs out. So it works through the joints, it works through the fascia, it works through anywhere that there's been tension and lack of circulation. And you might notice that your feet get flushed, your joints, your legs. And again, and if you were in position B, come to the same straight leg. Roll, get on the inside front edge of your sit bones. Sit bones. You can always use your hands at your side because the tendency is to round here. But we want to fight for that length of our spine. Press through the mounds of your big toes, your inner heel. See if you can align your center ankle with your center knee joint. So this is like you wouldn't believe how misaligned the heel can get. So draw your center heel through the floor. Right heel, left heel, equal pressure. And now draw the center knee through the floor. You're realigning the front knee and the back knee. Front knee and the back knee. Front knee and the back knee. Center heels pressing. And then right behind the Achilles, there tends to be a gap there. You're trying to close the gap. Close the gap, which means you're going to draw your toes towards your face. Achilles reaching towards the floor, heel reaching towards the floor. Align the center knee. And again, press through the mounds of the big toes and the inner heels. Find the inside edge of your sit bones, inside edge of the sit bones. Reach through the sit bones. Lengthen the spine tall and long. Center heart is lifting upwards and forwards at a 60-degree angle. It may not look like we're doing much, but there is so much happening, so much work happening here. So work from that awareness of your center heel, center knee. Now integrate the center thigh.
center thigh, inner sit bones, armpit chest lifting, center heart lifting. Again, ladies, if you're not on your moon, then you can get that perineum lift up to the ceiling. And imagine that there's a 50-pound weight on your thighs, and your thighs are breaking through the floor, pressing through the floor. Inner shoulders rolling down and back, inner shoulder, inner shoulder, inner shoulder. Reach through the inside edge of your sit bones. Inner sit bone, inner sit bone, inner sit bone, inner sit bone, inner shoulder. Mounds of the big toes. Lift of the perineum. And exhale, come on out. Wiggle those fingers and toes. You can use your hands to bend those knees. And we're gonna come to standing pose. Nice, take a deep breath. So, find a non-slippery surface, whether that's a sticky mat, whether that's bare feet on a wood floor. But we need a non-slippery surface to get the actual feedback. Okay, this one's really cool. Remember when I talked about the top of the head, beginning of class? We're gonna actually find what that center point is. So walk your feet wide, spread your feet wide, and kick your heels out. Good. Heels kicked out, so you're pigeon-toed. And you're gonna work on getting wider and wider stance, work with where you're at. But eventually, oh, you can't see my wrist. If I dropped a plumb line from my wrist to my ankle, that's how wide I would want my stance. But quite a bit wider than you think, especially if you got long arms and long legs. So we're getting that roll from the outside edge of the hip towards the inner groin. Feel that strong inner groin. Release the inner groin towards the back of the thigh. Open the back of the thigh. Okay, this is so important for the pelvis. Now you want to get all of your weight on the outside edges of your feet. So your inner arch, your inner heel is lifting up towards the ceiling. The backs of your thighs are opening. Very important. Open the backs of the thighs. And then this inner knee joint is reaching towards the outer knee joint. So it's like this energy. Inner knee releasing towards the outer knee. Okay. Pressing on the outside edges of your feet, lifting the inner arches. Inner knee joint releasing towards the outer knee joint. Ooh, breathe. Can be a big dissection. You're dissecting the body from the inside out, not the outside in. Good. Keep opening the backs of the thighs. Open the backs of the thighs. Inner knee towards the outer knee. Inner arches lifting. 110%, putting that pressure on the outside edges of your feet. 110%, pressing the front of the thigh to the back of the thigh. Stay in your pose. I'm just going to check out. Yay. Love you, Karen. Good. Front of the thigh releasing to the back of the thigh. And then 110%,
rolling from the outside edge of your hips towards your inner groins opening. And if you lean forward like this, you can actually start to get that opening of the back of the thigh and that release of the inner groin backwards. And you do want your legs to be on the same plane, right? So you don't want one leg an inch in front of the other. Get your feet on the same plane. Okay. So now that we have the legs organized, we're going to go to position 2, hands on the hips, lifting forward. So try not to bend, round your back. We want to get an opening, like a back bend. So open the chest. And again, rolling from the outside edges of your hips towards your inner groins releasing towards the back of the room. Spread your sit bones wide. Find that weight on the outside edges of your feet. Inner arches lifting. And again, front of the thighs reaching to the back of the room. Broaden the heart, broaden the chest, broaden the lungs. And now you can always put props underneath you to put your hands flat. Or if you can, drop your hands to the ground. So use props, use blankets, use a chair if you need. And then if you can, we're working to walk the wrists in alignment with the center arch of your feet. So your hands come back, aligned with the center arch of your feet. Good. Putting the weight on the outside edges of your feet, releasing those groins. Open the backs of your thighs, inner knee reaching towards the outer knee. And then final position. If you can, you draw your head downwards. And again, you don't have to. You can be at position 1 with the hands up or hands on your hips. Position 2 with your hands in alignment with your arches. And then position 3, if it's there for you, you actually put your top of your head and line it up with the center arches. Now, whether you were able to do that position or not, this is where you get that real feedback, again, of what we think is balanced and aligned in our feet or in our pelvis. What we think is the center top of the head usually is not. So I'll show one more way to find that. But again, if you can, align your hands with your center arches and draw the head down. And then exhale, come up. Slowly walk your feet together. Slowly walk your feet together. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Okay, so another way you can find that top of the head to realign it, because you actually start to realign the brain stem and the cervical joints, the whole spine, through that center pressure point on the top of the head. So the way that you can find it is your center ears, feel the tops of your ears, draw a line, and that is the center top of the head, and put pressure. put pressure on the center top of the head. So again, top of your ears, draw a line. That is the center top of the head. So it kind of feels like it's a little bit more on the back of the head, but that's the center top. Now put that pressure with your fingers right at that center top. Front ribs are reaching to the wall behind you. And you're pressing, lengthening through the top of the head as if you're reaching towards the ceiling. And then at the same time, you're pressing with your fingers on that center point. Good. And when you build up to where we're actually doing headstands, that is the point on which you're balancing. But when you do headstands, you start with a very small percentage of weight on your head. 1%, 2% weight on your head, the rest is in your arms. Then 5% in your head, the rest is in your arms. Because you have to build the strength of the cervical spine before. But here, when you actually put this pressure on the top of the head, what it does is it calms and it focuses the brain. So you have more focus, more clarity, but also starts to reorganize. Because most of us use one hemisphere of the brain more than the other, the right or the left. And this actually starts to reorganize the structure, the center, so we can start using our whole brain equally in a balanced way. So continue, press down with your fingertips, reach to the top of your head. Good. And so we have the right brain, the right thinking brain, which is like the creative. There's a lot of problem solving there, creativity. You have the right emotional brain in the back. That's, am I safe in this moment? That's empathy, that's joy, that's healthy boundaries. Then you have the left thinking brain, that's analyzing, thinking, also problem solving. And then you have the left back of the brain, which is the left emotional brain. And that's where we process our identity, right? So we say it takes about 90 days to create a new pattern, to create a new identity. And especially, we can map that through the body. But that processes past experiences, past emotions. So if that gets overdeveloped, we get stuck in the rumination, the thinking of the past, right? But if we're working from our whole brain integration, which you naturally are getting in our practice, then we have balance in the right thinking brain, balance in the left thinking brain, which leads to greater creativity and problem solving. And then you have balance in the right emotional brain and balance in the left emotional brain, which leads to that joy, that empathy, that integration of emotions real time, right? So we just want to access all of it because most of us have dominance in a couple areas because that's the areas we're used to using. So the idea is through this work, we're integrating all of it real time. So palms facing up, come to any comfortable seated position. Roll those top shoulders down and back, heart lifting upwards and forwards. So when we're working through all the points in the body, we're working with that analytical left brain. When we're coming to that present moment with our breath, we're working with that right brain. We're coming to the present moment. So lengthen through the spine, reach through the sit bones, inner sit bones, reach out the top center of the head, roll the shoulders down and back, front ribs reaching to the back of the room, heart opening, armpit, chest opening. palms together, elbows releasing and weighted. Release your chin towards your heart. And again, bring in that softness. So truly keep that warrior spine, that strength spine, and then that softness in your face, in your brain, in your organs, in your skin. Inhale, pause at the top of your breath. Exhale, pause at the bottom of your breath. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing today. Always a joy to come together in this space and practice together. Think of one piece that you're going to integrate from this practice. Just one piece, one gem that you're going to bring into your day. Maybe it's expanding your feet wide. Maybe it's the shoulders releasing. Thank you. Love you all. It is the top of the hour. So we'll have to hop, but if anybody wants to share just a couple minute reflection, we can, or a takeaway. Hi. Oh my God, you're getting so big. Love you all. Yay, thank you.
Such a precious baby. Precious baby. I'm going to integrate the shoulders. What was the note that you said you put on your computer? Was
Inner,
it say
inner shoulders down, inner shoulders releasing.
inner shoulders down? Okay.
And just having
Enter.
a visual cue, you could put little sticky notes on your mirror, anywhere, anything, just that reminder. Inner shoulders down.
Well,
Yeah.
that felt like a full workout. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
Sorry. I remembered a couple of sessions ago, TC reminded us that she said that wherever she goes, she remembers to do those poses. And I've been doing it and I feel like it makes me show up differently. Like I look more confident because my shoulders are back and not up and like feeling insecure or like how I've carried it most of my life. So that's a great one. I'm glad that you asked that question, Karen. And I noticed that when we did on the non-slippery surface, our legs spread wide like that. When we went back to the original normal position to bring our legs slowly back together, I felt like a valve opened up in my veins and arteries, and that like there was just like a rush of circulation that came when I was up at that position. I was like, whoa, because like I know that I seem to have a little bit of circulation issues in the feet, and so that was cool to feel that for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree, Dre, but mine was when we went from A to B when we was on our knees and stuff, and then you had us come back. That's when I felt it the most. I felt the same thing. I was like, wow, I didn't even know my body would do something like that. But it was cool though to be able to like be aware of it and recognize it. So I agree, Drea.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, you're working out the structure of the leg and the vascular system and all of it, that circulation. It's so good. Drea, that one is like amazing for you. If you even get a couple minutes each day.
Yeah. Love it. So I'm just gonna make sure I have my cherry drink and keep that going too. Yeah.
That's good, good, good. I love it.
Something that really struck out to me was just the power of your breath.
Mm.
Like when there's a challenge or something, and it just, I don't know, it reminded me of the Wizard of Oz and the ruby slippers. And it's like you have the power all the time. Even if something seems very challenging, you can you have that breath and that like, okay, my shoulders are shaking. It's like, no, breathe. And
Yeah.
we just had a nice conversation between the breath and the shoulders. And I love that today. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, that's the best analogy ever. The breath is the ruby slippers.
That is the power with you in every moment. So true. And our breath is what regulates our emotions and our nervous system. So if we're ever feeling stressed or overwhelmed or anything, come back to the breath, slow the breath, and everything else will follow. So yeah, I love that. Yay. Well, I got to pop, but I love you all. Thank you. And I hope to see you next week. And enjoy your weekend.
Love you back. Y'all have a blessed
Love
one.
you.
Take
You
care,
as well.
everybody.
Bye.
And
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Coach